How often do you find yourself locked into a conversation where you don't feel like you can get a word in anywhere? My name is Alan Butler. Today we will be discussing stage hogging and why it is important that we are not known as a conversational narcissist. I have read about stage hogging in a Looking in textbook in chapter 7, and I have also watched a media clip online to help me better understand what stage hogging is. Over the next few minutes, I will be talking to you about three main points. 1, the explanation of the concept of stage hogging. 2, a brief explanation about a media clip I watched on stage hogging. And 3, how stage hogging negatively impacts our communication skills. With that said, let us focus on our first point where I explain the concept of stage hogging. In the Looking in textbook by Adler and Proctor, the authors explain how a stage hog shows little interest to the speaker by trying to turn the topic of conversation to themselves. In the textbook, it is explained to us how stage hogs use a strategy called shift response, which changes the focus of the conversation from the speaker to the stage hog, also known as a conversational narcissist. The authors of Looking in, Adler and Proctor, then go on to explain the negative influences of being a stage hog by using an example of a job interview in which it is said that someone who is likely to interrupt the interviewer is less likely to be awarded the job. That takes me to my next example of stage hogging, where I explain the results of a media clip I watched. In a YouTube video called Stage Hogging by Panayotov, one friend strikes up a conversation with another by trying to express the frustrations he is feeling about a class he is taking. In the media clip Stage Hogging by Panayotov, a friend is quick to interrupt his other friend when learning about his frustrations in a class he is taking and turns the conversation to himself. The concept of stage hogging was presented in such a way that the original speaker of the conversation was unable to get his frustrations out as his friend dominated the conversation and continuously interrupted him. So what are the consequences of being a stage hog? The media clip clearly shows the negative influence that stage hogging can have on our communication. It is very clear that the media clip shows the negative consequences of stage hogging in that the original speaker at first starts to show signs of frustration towards his friend, and his friend continues to dominate the conversation, and he simply starts to lose interest. For that reason, it is my opinion that stage hogging can and often does have a negative effect on all different types of relationships. When someone is talking, it is important to listen. We will get a chance to contribute to the conversation when the speaker has finished. Interrupting the speaker mid-sentence is only acting as if your troubles are worse than theirs and shows a lack of respect for their feelings. That brings us to the conclusion. So what have we learned? The concept of stage hogging is when one person who is invited into a conversation then proceeds to take over the conversation and make it about themselves. The media clip I introduced you to shows an example of stage hogging between two friends where one of them takes control of and dominates the conversation. And lastly, the negative effects that stage hogging can have on relationships. So let's not find ourselves in a conversation where we are not allowing the other person to get their views in too. After all, no one wants to be known as the dreaded conversational narcissist. My name is Alan Butler. Thank you for watching.